Hello, my lovely people, and a warm welcome back to my channel. Okay, so my husband and I's journey to marriage and to eventually getting married started roughly around 2019, the 19th of October 2019, to be more specific. That was when we had our first event, if I can call it that way. That's when we held the first process of our marriage. We had to start it that early in our relationship because, in all honesty, my husband and I kind of started living together literally a week into our relationship. Like, honestly speaking, the last thing I remember, I swiped right, we matched, we met up, and the next thing I remember, most of my study material is at his place, some of my clothes are at his place, and we're even co-hosting parties together. So honestly speaking, we have been inseparable from literally the first minute that we met. If I remember very clearly, actually, the only time that me and him could have been apart for an extended period of time could have been around 2018. That was when he was working in Cape Town and I was working in Pretoria. But even then, I would always be up and down going to see him, and he would come and see me. So even though we were separate, we were not necessarily separate. Even though we were a bit far from each other at that time, we still felt close. Towards the end of 2018, he made the decision that he wants to move back home to be closer to his family and to help out with the family here at home. And that was also around the time that my contract in Pretoria was ending, so I was also in the process of moving back home. So he moved back to Zanin, I moved back to Polokwane, and honestly speaking, that was when my traveling up and down started to be heavy and full on, because every weekend I would travel to go see him. As soon as it's Friday after work, I would get on a taxi, go see him. Monday morning, he would drive me back to work. Friday, like, it went on and on like that until eventually his parents sat us down and had the serious conversation with us. So they basically sat us down to explain to us, okay, look, we see you coming here every weekend and we appreciate you coming here every weekend, but there are some things that are a part of our culture that we need to do so that you can freely come visit us and we can be free and happy about you coming to visit us for an entire weekend. So they explained to us that no, they need to go introduce themselves to my family so that my family knows where I am and who I'm spending my time with and how I'm spending my time. So they said, no, when I get home, I need to talk to my family and we need to organize a meeting of the family so that they can properly introduce each other. And I said, okay, it's fine. I'll talk to my family when I get home. So that week when I got home, I sat my family down and I told them, okay, so here's the situation. They want to come introduce themselves. So in most instances, at that point, that would have been the part where perhaps maybe they send a letter or they send a representative of their family to come and request for a meeting with our family. So I said, no, it's fine. I understand. I will obviously get home and have a conversation with my family. And that is what I did. When I got home, I had that conversation with my family and I explained to them, okay, so they want to come and officially introduce themselves. So that conversation went well with my family and they picked a date and said, okay, this is the dates that I think we can come. So they agreed on the 19th of October and it was set in stone that this is the date that it's happening. Honestly speaking, the planning of the entire thing went smoothly. I think that is literally the only event ever that I've ever organized in my life that went smoothly without a hiccup. It was perfect. There was no stresses involved because it wasn't a very formal event or very formal traditional event. I didn't want to have anything custom made, so I literally just went into a store, scouted around, my eyes landed on this beautiful dress, and I said, this is it, this is the dress I wanted, and it's going to fit perfectly for the occasion. So even though the planning was smooth, the night before I was so stressed. I didn't know what to expect from this because in my mind I'm thinking, no, it's just going to be something simple, something small. They're going to come, introduce themselves formally, then we have a nice little luncheon and everybody's happy, everybody is, you know, it's a vibe, everybody is there getting to know each other. No, I was mistaken. There was a process that needed to be followed. There is always a process. I think if I've learned anything over the years is that when it comes to culture, there is always a process that needs to be followed. So, okay, fine. The night before, I was stressing my lungs out. I was nervous because I didn't know what to expect. I kept waking everyone up and asking them, okay, so what's going to happen? What happens next? And everyone was just annoyed by me. And I remember particularly, I was so stressed. I spent the whole night making kozlo. So I had found this recipe online where you mix up these different ingredients to make a very nice kozlo. So I spent the whole night thinly slicing everything, mixing everything together, you know, just to make sure that just to calm myself down. I was cooking to calm myself down, and I made this kozlo that looked beautiful. I put it in the fridge and I told them, no, this is for my guests. You need to make sure that you serve it to the guests. They forgot. They forgot my kozlo in the fridge. When they set up the lunch for everyone, they forgot my kozlo in the fridge, and I only saw it after everybody left that, oh my god, my kozlo. But anyways, so come the day arrives, and obviously my cousins arrive early to come help us cook and everything. So I'm busy communicating with my in-laws on the phone, and they're telling me, okay, fine, send us a location so that we can just navigate to the place, and then we'll call you when we arrive. My in-laws are punctual. If you tell them that your event starts at 10, best believe they will arrive at 10 and not a minute later. Because we told them they should arrive at 10, and we thought, no, because we said at 10 African time, they might arrive maybe 11 or 11:30. So I'm out here running my errands, buying spices, buying ingredients, and as I am driving back home, I see my mother-in-law's car parked right in front of the gate. And I was so nervous. I'm like, okay, because I know they're not supposed to see me. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so how am I going to do this? I quickly pick up my phone. I call my mom in the house and I tell her, look, they are here. Whatever you do, somebody needs to come and meet them out here so that I can drive in and park the car. And now another thing about my in-laws, they're punctual and they're impatient. So if they get to a place and they see that nobody's giving them like any sort of direction as to what's supposed to happen, they will leave. So they start reversing out and turning the car around. So I quickly call them again in the house and I tell them, guys, these people are leaving. Drop whatever it is that you're doing in the house and attend to them because they will leave. I know them. So eventually they dropped whatever it is that they were doing, and then they sent somebody to go and attend to them. So eventually they dropped whatever it is that they were doing in the house, and they sent somebody to attend to them, and I was able to drive in with whatever groceries I had and take them to the house. And my nerves at that moment started getting the best of me, because it is happening, and it is happening now. So if I had any second thoughts, it was over with me. There was no more time for second thoughts. It was happening, and it was happening right now. So fine, they ushered them in, and they did whatever it is that needed to be done. I did not ask too much about the process, because I wasn't allowed to be in the same room. So the proceedings for introducing yourselves and for lobola negotiations, they're a bit similar in that there are two rooms, one for the guests and one for the family, and there always needs to be someone who's a delegated individual to act as a go-betweener between the two families, so that whatever message that this family has, they quickly take that message to the other family, and that's how they communicate with each other until the proceedings are done, and they now come together into one place, meet each other officially. So as soon as those proceedings started, they called me into the room where my family was, and they said to me, okay, here's the situation. There's a family here. They say they're here for you. Do you know them? So I had to confirm that, yes, I know them. Their son is so-and-so, and here's my man. Okay, that's not what I said, but obviously I had to confirm that I know them and I know what they're here for. Okay, fine. They dismissed me. I went back into my room. I'm sitting there in that room for what felt like the longest time ever, and nobody is coming to say anything to me. So I don't know, is it going well? Is it not? Are they still here? Because it is dead quiet out there. It is dead quiet, so quiet that you could literally hear a pin drop from all across the hallway. So I was just sitting there so nervous, until eventually I hear ululation, and I know in our culture, ululation means things are going well. So from a distance, I'm hearing ululation, and then I smile, and then now my sister-in-law comes to get me, and she said, no, everything is done, everything went smoothly. They're sitting in the living room now. Everybody's sitting in the living room. So now you need to come and meet your new family. So what now they have to do is that they need to cover me in a blanket and cover two other people in a blanket also. And we have to go stand in a straight line in front of my in-laws. And my in-laws have to pick me out of the crowd. They have to make sure that they pick me out of the crowd. If they pick the wrong person, obviously they have to pay a fine for picking the wrong bride until they get the right person. So luckily for my mother-in-law, she picked me from the crowd immediately, and everybody was happy. There was ululation, there was dancing, and that was when the lunch was served, and we all ate, and it was beautiful. Everybody got to know each other. I loved the fact that the two families were so happy and so comfortable with each other. And we had lunch. It was beautiful. There was dancing, and yes. In that process, my husband wasn't there. They had left him at home. I know in other cultures, the husband comes eventually after the introductions are done, and he comes with his family, and then now he's also introduced to everyone to say, no, this is who we're here to represent and whatnot. But we didn't do it that way. Only his family came. After everything was done, they left, and I went home with my family. Not my new family, my OG family. I went home with my OG family. I was happy. Initially, we wanted to have our traditional wedding on the 5th of September 2020, but COVID-19 happened, and that didn't happen. So we kept on postponing because of COVID-19, and until eventually it happened on the 27th of November. So yes, I was literally willing to wait another 5 years for the 5th of September to be on a Saturday so that we can have our traditional wedding on a Saturday. It was that sentimental to me to have my wedding on the 5th of September. But God had other plans, and I'm happy that it happened the way it happened. And I will be explaining that in full on my next video, which will be about our Lobel celebration and how all of that went, the fires that needed to be put out, because God, there were so many fires. Yes, so thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Thank you so much for your patience and for staying with me, and I really do hope that you are enjoying my content, and I'm sending you a lot of peace, love, and happiness. Remember to live, love, and love. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to this channel.